Alright, here's the complimentary view where I am on the planet today. I can't really do a 360 because there's nothing behind me. But here we are. There's a bear out in this stuff, maybe. Or something, maybe. And that's where I am. And obviously, it's not too exciting behind me. Alright, there you go. Alright, so I'm on the edge of a fresh logged off block, not too far from home. Just helped a friend in the valley down below. Just got home from but we just came home from taking a bunch of happy teenage girls into the city for a birthday weekend. Lots of fun. A little rested up now. Definitely got rid of all that cough and crap. And I'm going to share some stuff. Now, quick note. While I'm right here, had some thoughts along the way. And it's kind of funny, isn't it, how I actually wrote this down and I was thinking about it because I had some time, but listen to this. Just to throw some thoughts out there, all right? So the people have shared with the people. They have seen flying crafts in the sky for years and years. They've even seen pictures of them from ancient native North American to ancient Egyptian paintings and carvings. Meanwhile, other members of the people have insulted, harassed, and defamed the people for speaking out loud about what they've seen in the skies for numerous years, right? Now, for some unknown but anticipated coming reason, the previously misleading governments are releasing statements that these flying crafts are very real today. As a previous member of the people who have insulted and belittled members of the people for being honest and openly sharing with the people about these flying crafts, how are you feeling now? Right? How are you feeling now? How do you think you rate as an actual member, supportive member of your community, the community of the people, right? So now the facts of the Sasquatch are being trickled to the public, to the people, today. So wasn't it, I think it's the, in case many missed it, I think Ohio, the Ohio DNR has only recently been, I think, possibly the first government-funded group to openly discuss and talk about the actual fact that these Sasquatch beings are very real in the forests of North America and the world today. So I think, as far as I know, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources is the first government-funded group to let on that, yeah, what we already know is fact. For me, I guess for a lot of people that might come as a bit of a relief, something to celebrate, as well as numerous world governments are coming forward with the fact that these flying crafts are in our skies today and they're not from this world, right? So I would imagine a lot of people are celebrating that fact, right? But I think for possibly, I may be speaking not only for myself, but many other people who have been independently thinking for a long time, that only brings another red flag up for me. So okay, so now we've got the lying, misleading, opportunistic dirtbags who cannot be unless we're misled. We have them slowly trickling out to the majority of the people today that all these things are fact. Why is that? Obviously, it's not for our benefit. It is because of one of a couple things. It's either because something's about to happen that is completely out of their control, right? Which is more than likely. So that's the reason behind me having a red flag up when I see and hear all this going on. I think that's about it. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why these groups of government-funded people are now trickling more and more steadily. As an example, the fact these flying crafts, unworldly crafts, are here. It's a serious red flag for me, because I have a feeling because they're doing this, something out of their control is coming, right? Possibly something in their control is coming. Possibly it is time that they use this against us to keep us scared of each other, and scared of the skies, and control us better. I don't know. but I will guarantee you that nothing good is coming, right? Nothing good can be coming from them having to publicly admit to all these facts. So anyways, what I'm saying is, you know, in the past, and I've been a victim, I shouldn't say a victim, but I've been one of those people on the receiving end to be laughed at about UFOs because, you know, numerous years guiding up north, guiding people from all over the world I've had. And I'll never forget this one pair of guys that came into camp, because we'd always have the Sasquatch topic as one of our topics, nightly topics, throughout one of, like, we get two guys for 10 to 12 to 14 days in a hunt, right? And we'd always have different topics that we crack open in front of our new guests once during their hunt, and one night would be a Sasquatch themed discussion if they were into it. And we brought it up one time. I'll never forget this one guy just right away laughed out loud, and he says to me, "Hell, y'all probably believe in UFOs too." Just like that, right? And started laughing in my face. Whatever, shrug him off, don't pursue the conversation. What I'm getting at is, so those people, those literal thousands of people with that shit-eating attitude who were more than willing to shit on and belittle and defame members of honest, brave members of their community for coming forward and honestly and generously sharing with their community what they saw in the sky or what they saw in the forest. Now all those people, all those numerous people have to eat shit, right? And they also have to be faced with the fact that they are poor examples of supportive members of their community, which means they are basically meaningless to a community, right? What are you going to depend on them for? What role are they playing? They're not a member of your community. Meanwhile, they're probably living in it. But anyway, I'm babbling a little bit. Had a few coffees today. Haven't been in front of the camera for a while. I'm feeling quite healthy. But I thought I'd point those things out, that the people who have belittled all of those honest, generous, kind people who came forward with what they seen and witnessed, all of you dicks that previously laughed at and tarnished the characters of these innocent people, well, now you got to eat shit. How's it tasting? As far as the facts of the tens of thousands of people who have witnessed these beings in the forest for literally hundreds of years, if not thousands, it looks like it's happened. It's starting. First, it's starting off with the Ohio DNR. They seem to be the first government-funded group that's beginning to trickle out confirmation that most of us don't need, and confirmation that most of us are probably going to put up a red flag, because we're going to be wondering, okay, what's up? Why? Why are they doing this now? Right? Why are they doing this? Something's out of their control. Something's coming. Something's coming. It's possibly out of their control. That's my guess anyway. Well, interesting to see everybody talking about it amongst themselves in the descriptions, in the comment section below the video possibly. Be interesting to hear people's thoughts on what I just had to babble about. Yeah, if you have been following along, I previously put out a request to the scientific community as well as the military community to see if anybody may possibly have interest in answering a few questions which the people deserve and want. And just so you know, before I put out that question publicly, I've already had a good handful of people from the military and the scientific community sharing with me previously anyways. But now that I have them sharing, I want to expand. I'm hoping to expand and get other people who are obviously listening and see if I can knee-jerk them into sharing with us. So I do have a handful of emails that came in as a result of that share, and I can share them right now, all right? I will just share them as they came in. It's no specific order. Big pieces of the puzzle, part 2. Uh-oh. Hope I didn't miss part 1. If I did, I'll find it. Hello, Steve. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it is. Did I tack it on the bottom? Nope. All right, here we go. Listen to this. Hello, Steve, my brother from another. Thanks for your continued efforts. Your passion for helping others is inspiring. Hope this email finds you well. Time to drop some more pieces for thought. Firstly, on the missing 411, Sasquatch disappearing in orbs. These phenomena may hold a connection with the electromagnetic field that covers this planet from the magnetic north to the South Pole, which includes ley lines and the many ancient structures that are built on these lines using the natural energy fields of the Earth. The electromagnetic connection with 411 consists of people found near or in water. Granted, bad weather often occurs, perhaps associated with strong electrical activity that can create storms, etc. Shoes are removed, enabling the person to be grounded / earth with bare feet and no rubber insulation. 100-ton granite rocks were also used in the roof of the Great Pyramid of Giza, with some theorizing that the pyramid is some sort of an energy plant, or was. I encourage people to search for the videos of low-frequency played at tap water. Also searched for water turning into balls of light/orbs and others on water and frequency. The human body consists of up to 2/3 of water, so it would be naive to think that frequencies and vibrations do not have any effect on us. Perhaps a certain frequency can make us disappear. The Philadelphia experiment involving Einstein and the U.S. Navy is an interesting one that is worth researching. It is said that Einstein once asked, "What is it like to be a genius?" To which he replied, "I don't know. You'd have to ask Nikola Tesla." One of Tesla's many great quotes was, "If you want to unlock the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." I'm sure some out there are familiar with the water diviner using dowsing rods to find water underground. It's all connected. Next topic. There have been some informative emails already shared discussing power and control. Man, if only everyone knew just half of the implosions that are really happening behind the scenes. It's hard to know where to start when it comes to informing people on what is going on right now. But if we can't right the wrongs of the past and tell history in its true form, then it's bound to manifest again and repeat itself in a modern form. For we are not learning from history, and who continues to play human races against each other and why? Divide and conquer. George Orwell, author of the book 1984, feared that all books would be banned. Aldous Huxley, author of Brave New World, feared that there would be so much information being projected that people would turn away from books and information altogether. Think about that and how it relates today. I know you don't want to mix with the UFO subject, Steve, so with respect, I will leave it alone. But please just ask yourselves, why all this disclosure and why now in this current climate? Would you trust anything governments/military intelligence has to say on the subject? Take everyone's word with a grain of salt. Research for yourself both sides of a subject and form an educated opinion before entering debate and shouting others down. Good one. Try to avoid confusing a high education with intelligence or judging people from their occupation or position in society. Huge sentence. Love it. Leading health experts are a prime example of what I mean. You're just bashing these nails on the head. I hope any of you with mental or physical health issues look into more natural remedies and alternatives, including frequencies and vibrations as discussed here. For every problem, there is a cure waiting to be found and cashed in on. But to prevent it altogether should be the standard we set and aim for. Unfortunately, times will likely get worse before they get better. But as in the past, remarkable change will occur because of it. So please stay strong and ride it out, as today's fast-paced world is not in the best interest of the planet or all life that coexists. We're an evolving species that is slowly realizing our technology and intelligence should be making life much easier, healthier, and more equal for all walks of life. People stay away from the fluoride-infested water being pumped into many households. It calcifies your pineal gland and generally makes you more docile. The gland is your third eye. Research it if you're not familiar. If you need more fluoride for your teeth, they would put more in toothpaste, unless of course it is toxic at high levels. I've written so much and said so little. Thanks again, Steve, for this platform to speak and share with open-minded people such as yourself. We are the people that care for the future and what we are creating and leaving for future generations. The least we can do in life is leave a better place to live for the generations to come than what we grew up in. We are the majority. We have the power, and I hope that more of us can educate, or more so, re-educate ourselves and our family and friends on what is truth, who is holding us back from a better standard of life, and what is truly important. Just how amazing each and every one of you are and can be. It is time to reconnect. You're a spirit. You are a spirit having a human experience. Make the most of it and learn as much as you can while you can. Knowledge is power. Take care, everyone. Scott. Scott, I can't tell you how much myself and obviously probably thousands of people appreciate your email into the people. Hugely appreciated. I agree with basically every single thing you wrote, so I don't need to talk on it. But if you want to keep on sharing with us and get a little deeper down those rabbit holes, please do. We need all the help we can get as a group of honest, independently thinking individuals, right? Here we go. Fort Lewis events. Hey Steve, I think the NDA has expired, but I'm a business owner, so I'll only share my first name. The South Rainier training area is infected with crazy shit. First encounter, we were walking in a ranger file wearing NODs. All of a sudden, all hell breaks loose at the front of the column. flash bangs start going off, and we banana peel to the rear. I was in the center of the column, so I didn't actually see anything. We set up a perimeter about 100 yards back, and the first sergeant tells everybody, men, some of us seen some shit tonight that goes no further than here. 50 yards out of the perimeter for the rest of the night, you could hear the trees being snapped in half. At dawn, we got the hell out of there. We were never told not to engage, but on that patrol, we only had blanks anyway, so the flashbangs were the only tool at hand. Keep in mind, these were a bunch of high-speed infantry grunts that ain't scared of shit. We all nearly shit ourselves that night. Encounter 2. Within a few clicks of the first encounter, a year or so later, we were in a patrol base to remain overnight. Sometime after midnight, all hell starts breaking loose again. Trees start being snapped in half and thrown around. It continues until before dawn. Just before dawn. This time, everyone has live rounds. Blank adapters come off and shit is locked and loaded. There was never that impending feeling of doom that I experienced years later while fishing. I think they were just trying to tell us, we are here now and you need to go away. Yet again, we were told not to mention it again. I have no idea why it was well above my pay grade, but the training area was closed for a while and gunships patrolled it for a while afterwards. I'd be very interested to hear from some Cobra or Apache drivers what they have seen through their FLIR, F-L-I-R. That's that night vision, right? Thermal, I'm guessing. Fast forward to Camp Stevens, Oregon. Several months later, our scout platoon was acting as opposing forces, and another soldier and I were sent to find a company-sized element. We both know how to track and move silently. We're not shitty scouts. That is probably why we got so close. About 50 yards ahead of us, we spooked something, and it headed downhill in a hurry. We could hear branches being broken as it outpaced us by far. When we got to the spot, we figured we spooked it. We swept about 50 yards in a circle and found indentations in the ground about 18 inches long and 7 inches wide. There were in about 3 inches of leaves and pine needles, so there was no clear track. We started following it. There were fresh branches broken off far beyond our reach. Going downhill slightly, I would say the stride was at least 7 feet, if not more. It has been 30-some years ago. We didn't even need to speak. We just took our blank adapters off and loaded live rounds. Then we turned our asses around and headed back to the patrol base and never said a word to anyone about it. I have a couple more that I'll save for another day, trying to keep it as short as I can. Appreciate your channel and what you're doing. I still hunt and fish. If God wants my ass dead, there's nothing I can do about it. If you all think about it, man is the apex predator on this planet, but this being can get into your head and it can hide in plain sight. I'll tell you more later. Wow. All right, I absolutely appreciate you bravely and generously sharing that email of past events. Obviously can't wait for you to share more. And just a side note to everybody, what I've noticed in the past, I think basically so far, I think 100% of all of the emails that have come in from past military personnel, the amount of people who have said, bullshit, that's not a military person, is off the chart. It's almost like as soon as somebody says that they were in the military, it's almost like we have our own small little group of people that just want to scream out, bullshit, he's lying, stolen valor, bullshit, he's lying. Because possibly because they called a magazine a clip, or vice versa, or whatever, or said one wrong word, and that's it, they're a liar, they're a stolen valor person. I don't know, I mean, you know what, I call clips all the time. I'm not military, but I always have. I'm not a gun guy, but I just sling words the way they happen to come out at that time. It's no big deal. But at any rate, we are here to take from these emails what we will, or we also have the option to leave it, all right? But we didn't actually put up the option to blow a gasket and hit caps lock and start swearing, calling everybody a fucking name and start calling everybody a name on YouTube, right? Which is an absolute waste of time. So again, on that note, just to be sure for all you newcomers, this isn't about entertainment. This isn't about trying to prove anything to anyone, all right? This group of people here is mainly, this channel, these email shares, is 100% about the people who have been discredited, 100% about the people whose passion has been destroyed. Their passion about the outdoors has been destroyed. Hunters, fishermen, anglers, same thing, right? Backpackers, people who live rurally, ranch owners, farmers. This is about all those people, okay? This isn't about trying to prove something to the general public. the door's wide open here. The world's welcome here. If you want to learn, come on in, sit down, take a seat. You'll be treated with respect, and you can come and go anytime you want. I guess that's about all I have to say about that. I'm starting to babble a little bit, but I'm trying to get as much done as I can right now. I'm a little on the higher energy side of what I have been the past few weeks. But just take note of that, you guys, all right? If there's something in an email that you disagree with, fine. I'm not here to debate it. I am not in a position to be a judge of any other human being, first off, and I'm pretty certain neither are you. So, but you can be a judge of information for yourself. You are encouraged to come here, and if you can find a missing piece to your puzzle through the generously shared emails of thousands of people, then that's encouraged. That's great. But if something happens here or said here that makes you angry and want to blow a gasket, go check yourself in and get some counseling or something, all right? And try to refrain from hitting the caps lock and blowing a gasket, because if I see it, I'm just going to delete your ass forever and you'll never be able to come back here ever again, all right? It's that simple. So, that being said, here comes another one. Are you ready? And this, again, is in reply to my request a couple of emails back about scientific and military community sharing with us what they can. Steve, I'm a former Air Force night fighter pre-night vision capability. Our briefings regards Sasquatch included zero detail and only mention. Persistent inquiry would get a troop a visit to the mental health and career ruination. This was the control mechanism to keep troops from generating fear and suspicion within the ranks. On the defense, nuclear and R&D missile sites side, all kinds of anomalies were noted as the radar site troops were not allowed to review recorded data also. Project compartmentalization in defense site physics never allowed for a broad overview of what projects were part of a larger system, space applications especially. Because of my willingness to take information from retired DIA, CIA, and FBI personnel, my personal life savings was stolen by shadow operators of corrupt governments outside the US, UK and FR with Germany. So I guess that's UK and France and Germany, brackets. In league with CIA. This is a larger control strategy by making those willing to speak pay the ultimate price of imposed poverty and homelessness. Career prospects also ruined if you persist in blowing the whistle. Attempts on whistleblowers' lives is also part of the strategy if they cannot ruin your reputation within a community you live. If you haven't already, review Ryushin Maloney on YouTube. His disclosure mirrors everything I was told by a great uncle of mine who had been a chemist for Hitler's rocket program. Reach out if any questions. Kevin. Wow. There's a hell of a share. All right, I got questions, Kevin. My question is, what else do you know? What else do you want to share? Send it. All right? Send it all over. This is the world here. This is the people. We are the power. So send what you can. We're all ears. We want to learn. Here's another one. Okay, here we go. This has been years, maybe 10 or 11 years ago, but I remember it like it was today. Now, I'm not saying I'm a scientist or anything, but I had a 4.0 GPA. I was in the system growing up, so all I focused on was weights and grades. So I've seen it all. Been all over the East Coast. I'm not just a country boy from West Virginia. I've lived everywhere from Tennessee, North Carolina to Roanoke, Virginia. I've seen it all, so this day was definitely a shocker without warning. It was the day that changed the way I see the world. It was the day that changed the way I see the world. I was on a gravel road a few miles into the forest. It was about 4 p.m, ordinary summer day, until I saw it. The trees here are close enough to make like a wave of foliage. But from the porch, I see the tops of them for a good distance when I saw it. I thought it has to be a joke, not real. Maybe a balloon, but my eyes and mind automatically knew what I was seeing, like smoke fading. It was just 200 yards away. No noise at all. Okay, there's no periods. Here we go again. No punctuation at all. Do the best I can. It's 200 yards away. No noise at all. Going no more than 3 feet per second. Very slowly. It glided away, reflecting everything around it. Just making its way, obviously under intelligent control. Maybe 20 by 20 feet. No visible nuts, lines, or creases like one piece of metal made. The whole thing, like a scientist walking around a lab, it made its way through where I was, then gone. It changed my life. I know that I've never seen Bigfoot or any cryptids, never thought I experienced another type of paranormal phenomena, but maybe these things operating this craft has something to do with these disappearances in our national parks. Maybe the unexplained amounts of GHB is from them, keeping them alive in a dreamlike state. Maybe that's why they can't recall what happened when someone is found, or have crazy stories that chemical is naturally produced by the body to sedate, and it's natural. Chemical is naturally produced by the body to sedate, and it's natural. If that's not convenient, I don't know what is. So just sharing my story with you. Maybe we should collaborate on these issues. Love your insight. Hopefully mine was helpful. Thank you, and keep up the incredible content. You give these people a voice. You're doing good. All right, man, it's kind of a different email. Appreciate it. And punctuation, right? Next time, punctuation. It's starting to rain a bit, so I'm going to keep just rattling right through these, all right, you guys? Good morning, Steve. I've emailed you in the past my experience, but as a Marine back in 2008, 2012, my best friend was stationed in Washington State guarding nuclear subs. I'm now in the process of getting him to come forward with what he knows. Your most recent video saying you paid our salary and paid our way, you're right. And I'll do my best to reach out to my military buddies who are Marine security forces, who guard nuclear sites, and who may have first-hand knowledge. I told them about my experience, the one I emailed you a few months previous. I emailed you a few months previous, 2 months ago. It probably got buried in an email. This particular buddy acknowledged Sasquatch was real, and it wasn't until I seen your video about nuclear sites did I realize my buddies might know more than they let on. I'll reach out to them and see what I can do to get them to reach out to you. After all, we're in this together, and hope that I can convince them of this. Stay safe, and I'll share your email with my buddies. Hopefully you do the right thing. All right, so I found your previous email. You ready? Good day, Steve. I wrote you before, but realized my email might have been kind of vague. My name is Paul Perry. I'm 31 from Massachusetts. I grew up an avid outdoorsman, fishing, hunting, camping, etc. To give you a little background, in 2008, I left for the Marines. I was 18, and the war on terror was in full swing. After 2 deployments and a Purple Heart, I came home due to wounds sustained in Afghanistan. I couldn't re-enlist. So in January 2012, I moved back home. I instantly jumped back in the outdoors life and rekindling a relationship I had prior to leaving. I started hiking with my now wife at 13 years. Steve, fighting insurgents, getting into firefights with other humans who are as cunning and witty as you, hunting each other is a thrill like no other. I'm not a psycho. I just feel to cope with war, you do what you got to do. My way of coping was laughing and trying to remove the human aspect as much as possible. Sounds harsh, but my survival depended on quick reaction and no hesitation. So laughing as the JDAM fell from a jet blowing up in an insurgent stronghold is just the way it is. Now that you know all about my experience, was the late summer of 2013. I took my wife hiking at old Civil War fort. At an old Civil War fort. It has some decent beginner trails marked with color markers on the trees. We started out late in the afternoon, so it got dark quick. As the darkness fell, we got lost almost circling the same areas. This is where my experience is different than most. There was no crunching, no tree snaps. There was silence. Steve, I don't even know what made me look other than sixth sense, but I looked through the moonlit trees and seen the silhouette of a giant figure running through the trees. Steve, I've been shot. I know what it's like to accept death and have a mindset that I'm going to die. This trumped that tenfold. This figure couldn't have been more than 75 yards, which means I should have heard it. As a Marine, I'm trained to shoot 500-yard iron sights. I have a good judge of yardage. This was close to 60 to 75 yards and paralleling us. I drew my sidearm, grabbed my wife from the back of her neck, and pushed her through prickle bushes, then made her own path until I seen light on a house and came out in someone's backyard, firearm still drawn. I didn't feel safe till I was on the pavement of a street well lit up by street lights. Thankfully, she's seen what I've seen, but I can't explain it. 7 to 8 feet being running clearing distance no man could clear in such a short time. What was creepy, there was a silence over the woods, including that being running. That day scared the shit out of me. I would redeploy to Afghanistan twice over rather than see what I saw that day. Have you ever heard of these beings having encounters where it's silence? It's been 9 years on that, And that replays in my head daily, almost trying to figure out what the F I seen. Wow. All right, well, I guess, first off, welcome to the club of no return, right? And yeah, the silence is definitely a common and strong factor when it comes to seeing these things. I'm quite certain, I don't have time to watch videos online. I haven't had for some time. Like, I haven't watched any of Scott Carpenter's or Dave Plass's videos or anybody else for a long time, but I know they're still active. And I know that Dave definitely has spoke up the dead silence numerous times, without a doubt. I've had, if you can look back in that nuclear physicist emailed us, Edgar, he let us on about the death silence, the dead silence as well, him showing up hundreds of yards away from where he was previous. The dead silence in the woods, I've experienced it, actually caught it on video. The dead silence part is definitely a very common factor when it comes to these experiences, without a doubt. But again, unfortunately, welcome to Club of No Return, but at least you're not alone. There's tens of thousands of other people around the planet with the exact same experience, all right? And hopefully you don't get into shit when you're inquiring with your buddies about what they have possibly seen at work while working for the military. But if you want to dig and see what you can come up with, man, do it. Give her. We'd appreciate it all big time. I'm glad you and your wife were safe. This is titled Open Letter. Better mark it red right now so I don't screw up. I know how you guys hate it when I read another email twice. Folks, bear with me. There are billionaires who fund their own charities for their purposes and their objectives, while thousands of everyday people are trying to help those in need in every aspect of our society. And no, they don't get the money. A very self-centric philanthropy service to self. To my point, it is not about me. I am 70 years old and I have found my answers. My first UFO encounter was over 60 years ago and many since. A face-on encounter in 1989. I've been in every rabbit hole and every aspect of our reality I can find, attempting to understand the truth of it. An arduous journey at its best. Bottom line, it begins and ends in the infinite spiritual realms. Think of a large water fountain. It sprays the water high into the air and then returns to the fountain. Same difference. I have all the answers I need and learn more every day, but I am a giver to others, not a give to self. I care as much about the people as I do myself and family. What I see happening bruises my soul. All I'm trying to do is give back to anyone who has a desire and need to be more than the cookie-cutter, programmed ideology of our religious, political, and educational institutions churn out every day. To those who seek shall find. The death, destruction, famine, hate, and wars have prevailed since the inception of mankind. You don't think there's a problem here? I guess if you spend enough time in the sewers, it doesn't smell anymore. Yes, there are the peacemakers, those in service to others who are plowed under by self-centered, egotistical, psychopathic, narcissistic, self-justified, intellectual elite who rise to the top on the heads of those who stand in their way. The deceptions are so great. Who can hear it? So when I see these military and political elite pontificating on the awe of UFO videos, it turns my stomach. The lying bastards have treaties with many different races and interact daily in their precious, stocked with technology that looks like magic, deep underground military bunkers. And Congress is as complicit as it gets. Except for the black projects, they're not on the need-to-know list. Presidents and congressmen come and go. Oh yeah, but we have our own UFO battleships in space. They must rankle Musk to no end. He is forced to use rocket fuel and batteries in his cars. I'm sure he knows full well the folly of that. But what else can he do? Got to give him a lot of credit as a human being. At least he's trying. Some don't believe he's human. So all I'm trying to do is share some of the wealth and knowledge accrued over 70 years as a Christian mystical seeker. If you find truth in it, God bless you. If you don't find truth in it, God bless you. Many people who have the truth are suppressed by those who would take the lives of them and their families if they dare to state it publicly. So those in power stay in power, and the whole planet suffers for it. Like flexing their muscles with this COVID nonsense. And this is just about the things happening on our planet. A divine being tried to tell us the truth of our souls, and they nailed him to a tree. Do you honestly believe it would be any different today?
not. May God's peace, joy, and love fill your soul. The truth is out there and in your very soul. The final chapter unfolding. The deception is great, time is short. 1 John 2:27, KGV. But the anointing which ye received of him abideth in you, and ye not that any man teach you, but as the same anointing teacheth you of all things, and is truth, and is no lie, and even as it hath taught you, ye shall abide in him. John 4:24, KJV. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. It is a spiritual thing. All right. And thank you for that share. It sounds like you've done a little digging and gained some wisdom in your journey at 7 years old, for sure. And don't be shy if you want to share some more, all right? Obviously, it's getting shared word for word. And somebody, I'm quite certain, will benefit from the words of our senior population, right? The people who have been here longest are going to do the most, hopefully. Steve, you can use my first name, Michael. After the event in December 2012, all 17 of us had to sign NDA for 7 years. My CO said that they are interdimensional beings, and the Army has taken them serious since 1948, even before that. And there's several Black Ops units that are on call for these beings and other beings. All that was said about that unit, I asked for more information. My CO said I didn't want to know for my own safety, especially after what happened the night before. He said, I had enough on my plate. I can still see those eyes. That Black Ops unit, did show up the next day after the event with the FBI. The 2 MPs that first spotted the being shot at it. They were interviewed separately, as chewing, and got transferred within 2 weeks. CO also told me to look up Mount St. Helens eruption about the Sasquatch beings wounded and killed and helped by Army and Air Force. All he would say. We've been lied to about a lot of things in the world woods, underground, and in the sky. Saw unexplained things in Afghanistan, Iraq skies too. It's a deep rabbit hole. And yes, there were nukes there in Kansas. At this point, I don't get an F what the government does to me. They treat us like shit if they use and abuse us. The government knows the government sucks. Some of the scientific community knows the truth and won't tell the truth about them. It's a spiritual war, and it's very real. So the native peoples know the truth. I'm part Cherokee and Sioux, and I think that's partly why I got stared down through the CCTV, and that I was thinking of dumping it. Never shared that with anyone. Glad I didn't dump it. I was that scared, and I don't scare. This was a life-changing event. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Even enemies, except maybe the Taliban would deserve the shit scared out of them. Researchers are going to get way more than they bargained for in the Club of No Return when they have an encounter. Banging on trees, please. And whoops, what the F are you? What the F? You're playing with fire. I've rambled enough for now. Steve, thank you for everything you do. Equals a place for truth, safety, and a release. If you have more questions, ask away. You have my email address. If ever in Kansas City, let's have a beer at 12. Stay safe out there, brother. You never know what's watching. Okay, Michael. Appreciate it, man. I can relate to what you're saying. And I have been to Kansas, and if I do go to Kansas again, I'll definitely look you up, and we'll go empty some bottles. But until then, if you have more you want to share with the people, man, I'm encouraging you to do it and let it rip. All right? There's many, many ears here, and we are all listening, and there's some very, very intelligent, brave people here who are taking all this in and adding it to their puzzles. And it's almost like a race now, isn't it? It's like the first person to finish the puzzle gets to share it first, right? I know mine's filling in without a doubt. Here we go. Steve, let me mark this one as red. Steve, based on your opening comments today, it's obvious you're unaware of the consequences veterans and scientists face if we openly discuss matters of national security. Anything that has to do with nuclear military sites is definitely top secret and punishable by 20 years plus in federal prison. That being said, in today's world of technology, it's not that hard to track someone that openly violates their oath and NDA. I've shared 2 emails with you recently to test the water, so to speak, trying to gauge if the risk is worth it. As I've said before, my colleagues and I want to come forward with what we've experienced and know. As U.S. veteran scientific researcher with contacts throughout this community, I think it's fair to say most of us were put off by some of your comments. We pay taxes too. We work our asses off under very extreme conditions as well. The brass makes the rules and we follow orders. Okay, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second there. Just so you know, the only time I've ever directly tried to get in the skin of people on this channel is when I'm addressing the douchebags that are in the reality TV show world, subculture world, when it comes to Sasquatch, and misleading and narcissistic members of the Sasquatch community that make this shit about themselves, belittle other people, attack other people, and squash brave people that come forward with what they've experienced. What I've also made it clear in this channel is if you're possibly on the emotional side of things when it comes to discussing openly and receiving discussion, if you're easily offended, this isn't a safe place. Because I will admit, and don't take this personally, I really don't give a shit about people's feelings here. All right? Worrying about what other people think and worrying about their feelings prevents real, true knowledge from truth coming forward. All right? So, and I'm pretty sure if you and your colleagues aren't on speed dial to automatically contact each other after I make a video on YouTube, right? So, what I'm getting at is, first off, I'm going to thank you for sending in your email. But if you're feeling attacked or humiliated by me, it's your own doing, okay? You got to go back and listen to that original email where I said my opening words were, I may sound like a douche or a dick, but I'm not trying to be, okay? And obviously, I don't script anything. I don't think too much about what I say before I say it. But I know that I am here for the people. I'm not here to attack or dismember anybody. I get attacked all the time. I get attacked like you guys would not believe in various ways. I just don't bring it forward online. I do not mention the names, so I don't promote them. But I'm in battle nonstop, all right? And I got to have a thick skin to take all this bullshit that gets dumped on me nonstop. It's not too hard to find people trying to discredit me, attack me, and offend me, and even trying to disrupt my personal life. It's not happening, but just to let you know, that's what's going on with me, all right? Shrug it off. So, let me go on to the email. All right, I start babbling a little bit there. I appreciate what you're saying, but just make sure you go back and listen to my email again. I just said, one way of possibly thinking about it, it is our money. We are the people. We did give more than half of our income to the governments, and they share it with the scientists through grants. They fund the military, and somewhere along the way, what got lost in the mix was we're all in this together. It turned into us against them. So that's the bridge we're trying to build right now and bring everyone together and get rid of the dishonest people and bring up the honest people, right? That's what we're doing. So I'm sorry if you got offended, but you weren't being offended intentionally. Every one of my colleagues, both scientists and military, took your comments harshly. For myself, at 55, I've served my country in one aspect or another since I was 17. Being half crippled with spinal damage and frustrated with all the things being covered up, I'm to the point of not giving a shit what the powers to be say about my coming out with everything I know. But I'm only one man. I seriously doubt the government worries about what I say without others backing me up. My colleagues are not in my position and have much to lose. Just want to pass on our thoughts. On a positive note, we do appreciate everything you're doing, Steve, and thank you for the outlet to share. I was given permission to pass on a few tidbits. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and Savannah, Georgia, both facilities, have had interesting incidents involving the hairy men and interaction with military. Perhaps some of your viewers, ex-military, can give further information. My next email will focus on incidents in Colorado, Estee Park, Pikes Peak Forest, and Cheeseman Lake region. If you wish to share this, it's fine. If not, that's okay too. Feel free to use my name, and if you like, maybe that will encourage others to do the same. Best wishes, Otis L. Hoheimer, Jr. Otis, again, thanks again, man. Make sure you email back and share with us every single thing you can. I appreciate it, and I'll guarantee you thousands of other people appreciate it too, all right? There's just far too many of us now. The bubble's burst. It's out. We're leading the way. And it looks like if you follow the Ohio DNR, it looks like the government-funded groups are starting to follow suit, and they're being forced to trickle the information forward to the people, right? But that's where we're getting at. Although they can't be trusted thoroughly, we can. So we will continue to lead the way and support each other. Otis, can't wait to hear from you again. And tell your colleagues to suck it up when it comes to me. Steve, I'm a veteran of the United States Army, infantry. I've served in various units around the world and within the United States. I will just get to it. During any field training, we're always told to leave the hairy man alone if we saw them. One particular op brief for an FTX field training exercise, we had our brief, then squad leaders and above were issued 1 mag of live ammo to use if only attacked by the hairy man. Most briefings that I was in regards to the hairy man were simple. If seen, report ASAP. Do not engage unless attacked. If you attack or kill one, the punishment would be severe. Article 15, loss of rank, pay, and restrictions. Possible chapter out of the Army and or a trip to Fort Leavenworth, breaking big rocks into little ones. I've seen them at least 7 times, twice while hunting, 2 or 3 times driving through the mountains back home in Idaho, Fort Lewis, Washington, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and now here in eastern Oklahoma. Thank you for what you're doing. If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Brian Anderson. Brian, thanks for bravely sharing your name and what you've done and what you've seen, all right? And obviously you're going to have past friends, acquaintances that saw the same shit you did. And I'll guarantee you a handful of are listening right now without a doubt. And if you guys, gals, if you want to share here, email me at tellmystory@howtohunt.com or tellmystory@howtohunt.com, and we will share it with the people. Just so you know, I think combined right now, both the YouTube channels, I'm getting, I think it's over 7 million views a month now and climbing. All right, that's a lot of people. That's a big it's a big group of people, right? Of people supporting the people. Over 7 million a month and climbing. To share away while we still can. And just so you know, I do save every single one of these videos for the day that I do get deleted off YouTube. I've already started the Rumble account, which I don't post to that often because I'm more holding the Rumble account to post up videos that will be taken down up all the other platforms. All right, so that's why I'm not fully posting there as well currently today, but I should have some things up there fairly quick. So here's the last email I have in the military and sciences folder to date this week, and I'll share it right now, and then I gotta get out of here. Those people you've asked to provide specific info, it's not a gag order they're facing. A very serious part of the security facilities in general and specific facilities is what their systems are, hence capable of, what their policies are, successful implementation and compliance, and in particular, anything related to any of it being compromised or not in any way or degree is very seriously classified. It all relates to the personals and facilities capabilities being available and capable of doing its duty, and if when required. Any knowledge regarding that can be collected and correlated and can be used by enemy to identify what the capability is, when and how isn't effective, and to identify means of compromising that capability. Think about that in context of a place that stores, deploys, or launches nuclear weapons. ETAL, period. All the way down to what soldiers are instructed to do under general or specific circumstances and what they actually do. All valuable info. It's not a simple gag order they're under, but their security clearance. They can lose their clearance, current or future assignments, dependent on their clearance, career employment, their pension, their job/pension, medical coverage, and can be facing decades in jail. Seemingly small details that shouldn't matter for security purposes are actively collected and individually or combined reveal a surprisingly amount, which is why, in addition to clearance level, there are specific clearances for different types of work, and what too many forget: the need to know. If you don't need to know it to do your job, then you're not authorized to be informed. The fewer people know, the less likely it'll be compromised. Things you accidentally learn or discover are also covered. It's in one's interest to only know what is needed. The less you know, the less valuable you are to be targeted, to be compromised. In the Korean War, one captured pilot officer was spared torture for information. as the interrogator who showed up to perform such arrived at the camp pushing a broken down motorcycle. The pilot's hobby was bikes, and he offered to and quickly fixed it. The interrogator then knew that someone who was trained to do such low tasks wouldn't be trusted with, tasked with, nor noticed any valuable information, so the pilot was spared such interrogation. Part of why that worked is that the U.S. had pilots that they make officers just because they're pilots, but they do not have the training nor responsibilities of regular officers. They only have flying duties. The Canadian angle on that is the Canadian pilot officer pretended he didn't speak English, only French. They sent another interrogator to the camp that spoke French. Pilot pretended he only spoke English, not any French. The one that arrived pushing the broken bike spoke both English and French. I'd be unsurprised if your email addresses are now part of many countries' common email screening filters for all traffic in/out of secure facilities and for email accounts of those with clearances. It is a great opportunity for them to leak whatever message they want to let out. Perhaps we used to have some compromises on occasion or under some conditions, but those have been plugged and are now part of the regular security protocols. Whether compromises are true or not, nor if fixed is true or not. Or perhaps they want other countries to think that, say, the U.S. physical security has such holes. Hence, another country or countries would think that those countries may/must have holes too. Officially, they can't acknowledge any capabilities, yes or no, so it will be doubly interesting to see what responses you get. Rather like that one email that had the video deleted where the guy had all sorts of facts that don't hold up as facts if you go to actual sources, not simply finding others claiming the same, tons of false logic, etc. Such that the email presented as phishing to see what disinformation he could get away with dispersing through your channel, which is something that makes the U.S. release claiming to know of UFOs, which are things they don't know, what they are, whose they are, what they're capable of, and what they're doing, and why, rather interesting. The question is, why did they release that? How does that compare to what they actually know? Yeah, exactly right. Why are they releasing that now? What's up? What's out of their control? What are we in for? What's coming? But anyway, thanks for that email. Thanks for that share. And just so you know, my questions weren't specifically for military or military secrets. My questions were directed to people in the nuclear power sector, possibly nuclear missile sites where they may have been working. We have had a handful of these guys in the past email because they didn't sign an NDA and they saw these things looking up through the security cameras at them. They also stated that they don't know how they got in there, how they got out. And this wasn't just military, this was energy, nuclear energy sites as well, right? So, again, thanks for that input, but again, I will say it again. All of you people out there who have had these experiences, and possibly, if you're a scientist, I don't care what kind of scientist you are, if you have had some experience with these things and you've seen them, and you're baffled, and you are possibly a member of the people, I would strongly plead and encourage you to hopefully go out of your way to email me, email the people, share through me, and help us put some of these missing puzzle pieces together, okay? Because there's just been far, far too many good people in our society today have had these experiences. They didn't ask for them, and it's basically trashed their lives. And that's my fuel to do what I'm doing. I cannot be intimidated to shut up, and I cannot be intimidated to stop. All right? It's not going to happen. I'm definitely going to hurt a lot of feelings that are along the route, piss off some people. Oh well, too bad. I am going to get all of the missing pieces to these puzzles together, and I'm going to share it. And we're going to salvage what we can of these innocent people's lives who have been discredited, attacked, belittled, had their families split up, divorces, lost their jobs, lost their pensions, can't go outside anymore. It's really sucks. It really sucks, and it's really shitty. And that's my fuel. If anybody has a problem with that, too bad. But anyway, this is almost an hour. This is almost an hour of babbling, and now it's starting to rain enough I got to get this electronic equipment inside. What am I going to do now? I think possibly this evening I'm going to do that photo dump out of my phone.
and I'm going to get every single email that I have saved in my phone that I possibly didn't share. I just want to get it out of my phone, so I'm going to put it all into a video, throw down some music in the background, whatever. I'll share every single photo I have had emailed to me, which had the green light to share with you. I'll share it, and make of them what you will, take from what you will. I'm not saying if they're legit or not, and I don't give a shit either. But people emailed me and asked me to share, and that's what I'm doing. And if any of you people do see your photo come up and I didn't share the photo in your email that I shared previous, just blast off the name of the email the photo goes to in the comment section below of that video when it comes out, and everybody can go line it up with your experience and have a go at it. How's that for a spiel? No bears yet. There's lots of grizzlies in this little valley I'm in here. Lots. But they're not out right now. They'll be coming out tonight for sure, first thing in the morning. So, share my story at howtohunt.com. Tell my story at howtohunt.com. Share away. Let's fill these puzzles up and get them shared.